To the mass anti-government protests in Iran, the regime cracking down. Hundreds of demonstrators have reportedly been killed as President Trump threatens U.S. action against Iran in response. We're going to have the latest from the White House, but first, let's go to our chief global affairs anchor, Martha Raddatz. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, Robin. These protests are remarkable in size and commitment. All of the protesters defying threats of death to take to the streets where so many have reportedly already been killed. This morning, a growing massacre in Iran as the regime cracks down on the largest anti-government protests in years. According to a U.S.-based human rights group, Iranian security forces are opening fire on protesters nationwide, reportedly killing hundreds and arresting thousands of others.
These 2 weeks already we have surpassed the level of violence we had seen before, and the crowds and the number of protests nationwide are much larger, and people seem determined.
Videos posted on social media show the violent escalation, with fires being set by protesters, cars and government buildings in flames. One video showing a man using a flamethrower lighting a motorcyclist on fire. Dozens of body bags seen in this video lined up outside a morgue south of Tehran as people try to identify loved ones. The government trying to shut down the protests with a nationwide communications blackout, cutting off the internet and phone lines. But across the globe, demonstrators in support of the Iranian people from Sydney to Paris to London to Los Angeles. This video showing a U-Haul truck driving through a group of protesters in Los Angeles. The protests in Iran come as its economy reaches a breaking point, the country's currency plummeting, the cost of living skyrocketing, sparking nationwide protests among even the most ardent supporters of the government. In recent days, President Trump has thrown his support behind the demonstrators, threatening U.S. action if they are harmed. Now, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, saying protesters are destroying the country to, quote, please the U.S. president. And this morning, the Iranian foreign minister calling the protesters terrorists, but saying the regime is ready to negotiate under certain conditions. George.
Okay, Martha, thanks. Let's go to our senior political correspondent, Rachel Scott at the White House, with more on the president's response. Good morning, Rachel.
George, good morning to you. And you heard it there from Martha. The president did acknowledge that Iran has called to negotiate, saying a meeting is now trying to be set up. But he did warn the United States may need to strike before then, as that death toll continues to rise. This morning, President Trump weighing possible military action in Iran, warning the country may be starting to cross his red line.
They rule through violence, but we're looking at it very seriously. The military is looking at it, and we're looking at some very strong options. We'll make a determination.
A U.S. official telling ABC News the president will meet Tuesday to discuss options for U.S. action in Iran. Sources say President Trump has been briefed on many of those, but hasn't made a final decision. Over the weekend, the president vowing to help Iranian protesters, posting on social media, Iran is looking at freedom, perhaps like never before. The USA stands ready to help.
The best way is to encourage them and say that, of course, we would recognize a government that is a freedom-loving government that allows free elections, but bombing's not the answer.
Lawmakers urging the administration to stay out of it.
U.S. military action in Iran would be a massive mistake. It would have the effect of giving the Iranian regime the ability to say it's the U.S. that's screwing our country up.
A top Iranian official warning that the U.S. military in Israel would be legitimate targets if the U.S. strikes Iran. But the president says if Iran acts, the country will pay an even steeper price.
If they do that, we will hit them at levels that they've never been hit before, and they won't even believe it. I have options that are so strong. So, I mean, if they did that, it'll be met with a very, very powerful force.
President Trump.
And there is heightened tension in the region. The United States hit several ISIS targets in Syria in response to 2 service members being killed in that region just last month. And of course, the president now delivering a very different warning to another foreign country. He now says that Cuba will no longer get money or oil from Venezuela, saying that they need to make a deal before it's too late. Cuba's president responding, saying no one tells us what to do, Robin.
All right. Appreciate your reporting there, Rachel. Thank you.